It's about 3:45 and we are on the way out to our spot tonight. We're gonna head back to Three Corners, the spot we hunted on opening night. Opening night, in the middle of the night more, they're a little later to show up, but they ended up coming back through the kind of, it's like just a fence opening more or less between two fields that they crossed back through. And then last night we didn't hunt there, we hunted at Gravel Pit, and right after dark or right at last light, three actually shooters all kind of went through there around the same time. The big mainframe 10, that's been kind of our main target there. There's another big 9, and then a different one that showed up about 2 days ago that has like just a little split on his G3. So all three of them were there, like I said, right towards last light, maybe just a smidge after. So it's supposed to be the nicest night for the next few days, so we're going to kind of give it a shot. The wind isn't the greatest for the spot where we're originally set up, but we're going to kind of go on the opposite side of the fence opening and try that, because it's supposed to be a west wind to start the night, then it shifts to the north around 7, and then by the time it's dark, it's a straight east wind. And east wind, where we're going to set up, is going to be the best for it, and we're just kind of banking that they're going to show up last light like they have been, so east wind would work out perfect.
About 6:30 now. I haven't seen anything yet tonight. The wind started to pick up actually half hour after we got in the tree. It's actually blowing pretty good right now. When we got in the tree, there was no wind whatsoever, which seemed weird for out in North Dakota at 4:30 in the afternoon. But like I said, it picked up. It's pretty strong out of the north right now, which is good for this stand. But our series of kind of unfortunate events so far this week kind of hit us again tonight for the second time. We were sitting in the standby for an hour and a half, and the farmer actually came in and started to kind of work up or do something in this field a ways down. I'd say the closest he got to us is probably 300 yards, so I don't think he boogered anything too bad, but he was kind of messing around, tilling some stuff up on the edge of the marsh. So it sounds like he's out of the field now, at least from what we can hear. With this wind, it's kind of hard to pick anything up, but we haven't heard him in some time now, so I think he's kind of out and gone, so that should be fine. We still got 2 hours till it's dark out, so hopefully maybe that helps anything that was in any of those marshes that he wanted around, maybe get up on their feet a little sooner.
Well, it's about 9:30 and we just got back to Dakota. It was another unsuccessful night with not seeing a mature buck. Tonight was actually better than the other 2 nights. We seen, I think it was like 3 or 4 just smaller bucks, all pretty close to us, and then we seen 2 doe and a fawn. But we kind of snuck out of there as dark as after our shooting hours, but snuck out of there, just kind of left everything up. We'll go back in there tomorrow and grab it. We just wanted to get out of there in case the bucks were on their way. Like I said, they've been in that spot pretty consistently shortly after daylight, so once it's kind of clear all around us, we just snuck out of there, and hopefully we didn't booger anything too bad. So I think Dylan's making fajitas for dinner, so we're gonna go dig into some of them.
Well, it is day 4 here in North Dakota. We're gonna have a little fun today. Got everything done at camp that we need to, and it's a nice day, so we're enjoying some time on the golf course. So we're gonna hang out here, probably golf 9. That's gonna be plenty for us, and then jump in a tree later. So can't complain.
You ready, Randall?
Yes, sir.
Got enough balls along?
Oh, Jesus. Four! Jesus.
Rand almost couldn't go to the tree tonight.
Oops.
see that ball almost kill you?
I seen it coming.
Yeah.
I did. I knew it was gonna come this way.
I yelled 4 as quick as I could.
I seen it coming.
All right.
I don't know why you're aiming that way, then holes that way, but
Shut.
who's beating?
That would have been money if it was straight.
You know, golf just probably ain't my game, but I really don't know what to say, so we're just gonna keep going.
Nice shot.
Get up. We are just finishing up our day at the course. It's a fun day. It's a good way to get out of camp day. After you're there for a few days, kind of run out of options for things to do around camp besides shoot your bow. So it's fun to get out, test out the course here in town. It's a pretty nice course actually for being in the middle of nowhere in North Dakota. So I took the win by 6 strokes over Rand. Dylan just came along to participate, we'll just say that. And we're gonna head back. It's going on about 1 o'clock right now, so we're gonna head back, get lunch, and probably head to the tree and blind or whatever we got up our sleeves around 4 or 5 this afternoon and see if we can't get it done. Weather's actually, they were calling for upper 80s, but it's not upper 80s, so hopefully deer still move like we want them to, and we can finally punch a tag here in North Dakota. So that's the plan. We got the golf out of the way. Now we got to kill a jumbo, and we're gonna have ourselves a really good day. The weather is optimal. It's supposed to be like 89 degrees today. Well, maybe not that high. Mid 80s. And like pure sunshine. It's supposed to be kind of hot. But it's actually turning out to be pretty nice. It's got to be only in the low 70s, cloudy, overcast. Deer should move, I think, again tonight. Dylan and I are going to a spot that we haven't hunted yet before. We're going to be after some jumbos. We got 3 there that are big deer, and one of them's been daylight or flirting with daylight like 4 or 5 nights in a row now. So got high hopes going into that spot, and the other boys are going to a spot that they had a new buck show up last night, and another solid deer that they've been after. So hopefully we can go 2 for 2 tonight, and then have a few lattes. That's the plan.
Awesome.
Congrats, bud.
I love this feeling, man. Well, it's day 5 of our trip out here in North Dakota. Just thought I'd give a quick rundown on what I've been wearing so far on this trip. Temperatures when we've been going to the tree stands like we are now has been about 75, 80 degrees and sunny. And then by the time we come back to the truck at night, it's probably about mid 60s to low 60s. So I've been rocking the Kiln hoodie. I like the flexibility of it. It's got the nice quarter zip, so when we're setting up tree stands and everything like that, you can kind of open it up, let it breathe. Sleeves are super loose, you can roll it up, kind of let it breathe out, like you said, when you're hanging those tree stands and stuff. But at the end of the night, you know, when it starts cooling off, it gives you plenty of warmth. Yeah, that's what I've been rocking. It's been working out perfect. Temperatures look like they should be the same the rest of the trip, so I think I'm just gonna keep rocking this.
Well, it's about 6 o'clock now, and we just got set up in a whole new spot that we didn't intend on coming to. I don't even know what the spot they call this, but it's one of the other guys' spots, but JP's along with me. A spot we had intended on going to. The farmers were working in the field right next to it, so we had to abandon that plan, unfortunately. There's a nice 8-point buck that was there. Towards the end of the night, or in daylight the last few nights, so it sucks we had to do that, but came to a pretty good spot. It looks like it's a good area. Cell cams show that there's a buck or a couple nice bucks in here that have been showing up around 10, JP said, so hopefully they just get up on their feet a little earlier today and take a stroll through here. We got some corn back over to the east of us, so they're kind of coming from west working east, so hopefully they funnel through here.
Well, it's about 7:30, quarter to 8 right now. We got about good 45 minutes of legal light left. I have not seen a deer yet, but hopefully they're still on their way. We actually might see some on the other side of this marsh in a big egg field, but other than that, it seems like a kind of slow night, but wind's calming down here, so it's kind of getting to that good hour out here in North Dakota. We're just going to sit tight and hopefully something strolls through. Well, it's about 5:30 now. It's Wednesday, September, 8th or something like that. I don't even know. But we're back in gravel pit after the buck we've called Giannis. He was in here 2 nights ago in the middle of the night with a different 10 actually that we haven't had on camera before. So they're in the middle of the night, like I said, but we didn't really have any other spot to go to where we had cameras with this wind besides here tonight. So we kind of came back and did this. So we're hoping he slips up. Prior to that, like a week ago, for a stretch there, he was on daylight or at the edge of daylight pretty consistently. So the farmer earlier in the week was messing around with the grass and stuff ways behind the tent. So I don't know if that kind of screwed with his schedule, screwed with him a little bit. But he hasn't been in here. We don't think the farmer hasn't in probably 2 days. So we're hoping he kind of gets back on his normal schedule, and hopefully that tonight's that night that he slips up, or that other 10 slips up and shows up in daylight again. But we're just going to sit tight. Got a little over 2 hours till it's dark, and it should be good, I'm hoping.
Well, it's about 4:15 on September 9th. We're headed out to a new spot tonight that we haven't hunted yet this trip. Spot we're calling Jugs. There's a nice 10-pointer that was in there 2 nights ago during daylight, and the night before that. Last night we had a little card issue with the camera. We let it fill up and didn't format it, so we have no idea what was in there last night. But we got a perfect wind for it tonight, so we're going to sneak in there, and hopefully he shows up again tonight. We brought B along. We're going to kind of do the drop-off, and they're going to pick us up later, so we don't have any vehicle parked there, so hopefully that helps us a little bit. But yeah, hoping for a good night. It's about 75 right now. It's supposed to get into the upper 60s by dark, so it should be pretty good.
It's about 5:15. We got fully set up and ready to rock and roll. Like I said before, we're at the spot we call Jugs that we haven't hunted yet this week. We've had a nice 10-pointer that's shown up a couple days in a row in daylight right before sunset, so we're hoping he shows up again tonight. How it sets up is we have a strong south wind, which actually blows it back into this woodlot behind us, and it's a thick, gnarly woodlot, so I don't think anything's ever really going to come through there, so we feel pretty comfortable with that wind. Just based off the trail camera and what we can see here, it looks like they're coming from the right side, just circling around this woods. There's a nice beat-down trail that leads right to this beaten corner that we're sitting, so it also looks like there's a nice trail coming from our left around the woods into the beans as well, so hopefully they walk one of those trails. If they do that, they kind of converge at about 15-20 yards, so it'll be a nice chip shot, hopefully. So we're just going to sit back. Got about 3.5 hours till dark, and hopefully something shows up. Well, it's about 6:45. Still have not had a deer come through, but we're just checking the trail cameras, and we haven't really had a deer in here much before 7, but it seems like after 7 a few does start to come in, and then we're actually looking at more pictures, and that 10-pointer's been in here like 4 nights in a row. It was like 8:45, 8:30, 8:15, 8:15. So if he can get here anytime before about 8:30 is about when it gets too dark for camera light. So anytime before then, I think we'll have a crack at him. And we're also looking at every time he comes from my right, so it'd be to the west. So there's either 2 options for that one, is he's looping around the woods and there's a big beat-down path, or he's taking the path right through the middle of the woods that you could drive a truck through. We're not really 100% sure which one. I'm hoping it's the one up around the woods, because if he comes from behind us through the truck path, he might catch our wind maybe. But yeah, it's kind of just got that feel to it that tonight could be a good night. It's starting to cool off a little bit already. The wind's calming down a little bit, so just kind of got that North Dakota feel that things could get up on their feet a little sooner than most nights. Still at him. Did he just go down? Oh man. I'm shaking like a goddamn leaf. Oh. Oh my god. Dude. Let's go. Let's go. That could not have worked out any better. Not any better.
Oh yeah.
Damn. Well, we got him. Shortly after we shot, we called JP and Brennan. They were actually on their way to pick us up, so they were here within a half hour at the most. As soon as they got here, we went on the blood trail right away, because we actually watched them go down in the beans. So pretty easy trail to follow, and you only made her about 100 yards, 150 yards. But this week's been a pretty good grind. It's day 7 or 8, and this is our first mature buck encounter that we've actually had in all those days. Last year when Dylan and I were out here, we had mature buck encounters pretty much every day, or for the most part. But this year's just been a grind for whatever reason. But we made it work tonight. Great night, great buck. He's got like 3 inside points here, and just a bunch of other cool characteristics towards the base of his horns. Super pumped about him. Got a lot of work to get done yet tonight. Got to get him to camp and cleaned up a little bit, but yeah, excellent hunt, awesome hunt. We got 2 more days, so hopefully we can get Dylan behind the bow here and maybe get another double in us.